Welcome back to the Giving Ground Chat Show, a Warhammer the Old World podcast where I interview players who stand out in the world of competitive and narrative gaming. In today's show, I'll be chatting to Keith Wilkinson. Myself and Keith were club buddies for many years back in the early days of competitive Warhammer, and I've just recently reconnected with him after many years of absence from Games Workshop games myself. Keith is currently topping the UK Masters rankings and is dominating many events with his Vampire Counts army, which has inspired me to pick them up again recently. So, before we start, I'm going to get on the beg again. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming shows, press that thumb up and like the video, but most importantly, because it does the most good, drop some comments once you've finished watching for both myself and Keith to have a read of. Also, just a reminder that I'm not sponsored and don't do this for profit, but by using the Buy Me a Coffee link, you can help me cover the cost of the studio and video editing software that lets me make this podcast, vodcast, or whatever you want to call it these days. So, let me add Keith to the conversation. We'll be back in a second. Okay, so here we are, episode number 2 with Keith Wilkinson. So, Keith, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Righty, good grief. Family man, a lot of kids. Been married now for nearly 20 years. Been playing the hobby forever, since I was 14. Into health and safety, do it in an educational environment. That's my job. Keeps me ticking along. Trying to squeeze as many tournaments as I can, of course. Friends are pretty much from the tournament backgrounds, in all honesty, through the years. So obviously I've known yourself for the best part of, 25 years. All lads I'm around now, 25, 30 years. It's one of the best bits about the hobby. Dragging friends you've never even thought you'd come across. People from all over the world through the hobby as well, which is fantastic.
It's a big point of why I wanted to do this podcast, because I've got a lot of friends that I've had from the hobby for many, many years. Some of them started as clubmates, some of them started as adversaries. I thought it would be really nice to have a look into the life of these war gamers and find out a lot more about them. What we will do is we'll move it swiftly on to your Warhammer origin story, Keith.
Right, as I mentioned before, so I started playing when I was 14. How I got into Warhammer back in the day was through friends, and I stumbled across, if you would, a White Dwarf magazine. God knows what issue it was. It was probably issue 50 or something. One of my favourite things I've ever read. Got dragged to a GW store in Preston by my granddad because he knew how much I was into just reading this magazine. That was kind of how I started with the hobby. After in that GW store for the best part of an hour and a half, got me introductory to a game from the amazing staff, and I was one of them staff. I'm sure you were at one point, weren't you? I think you're like,
No, I've never been GW staff.
You've never GW? Oh,
No.
lucky you, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
Also unlucky you. And then, so 14-year-old up to about 18, met a guy named Jeff Porritt, who we both know really, really well. I know face palm job, where he's a top bloke, still know him really well. He picked me up for the Warlords, the Northern Warlords, through the Bolton club I was playing at the time, and the rest is history in that sense. Went to my first tournament in 1998, so yes, I'm old as shit. I think we're kind of similar ages, aren't we, really?
You haven't clicked over 50 yet, though, have you?
No, not. I'm only 45, mate. Only 45.
Right. You've got a bit. I think I've got 7 years on you as of tomorrow.
I'm a pup. So I went to my first tournament in 1998 with the Warlords. It was the Club Challenge, I believe, as well, held at GW in Lenton, which is the mecca for all war games, of course. We actually won the Club Challenge. I was in for the first event. Came 16th individually, and you were in the team, I believe, as well, mate. So
yes, I was. I mean, we'll come back to the Warlords in a minute.
Yeah.
So yours is a typical origin story. You just found the figures irresistible, that you needed to get some. I was pretty much the same. Mine was GW Newcastle. Went in for some role-playing supplies and seen these things on the table, and I was like, "Ooh, this is marvelous." Tasty. And then not long later, I think when we got into it, it was second come third edition, and we were all very young teenagers. So maybe's got a box of soldiers each. What went on the table was mainly cardboard.
Absolutely right. My edition, I think, might be the same as yours. Is that the High Elves and the Goblins with the cardboard cutouts of griffins and wyverns?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Third edition, yeah. That was my first edition, mate. And literally the first thing I got was when my granddad took me to the box set, the 50 quid box set, which was like 2 armies at that point. And that was it. Yeah, never looked back, to be fair. And then taking on other game systems from GW as well over the time. But landed back on my favourite hobby, which is fantasy. I know it's called the old world now, but it's still a fantasy for me.
It's just Warhammer Fantasy.
It is, mate. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll
Yeah.
press the button.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk clubs, teams, and affiliations. So you've already give away that you were part of a club, and that's how we met. But tell me a bit more about it.
Oh my God. Is it safe enough to talk before 9 p.m? Get to about the Northern Warlords. Yeah, I've been part of a couple of clubs over the years. I've got to start with the Bolton Club with loads of old lads who've been knocking around for a long time. That's where, like I said, where Jeff found me before the club challenge. Joined the Northern Warlords. I've been a part of another club once. The Warlords kind of disbanded back in when Fantasy kind of finished, which was the best part of about 10 years ago now, and joined a club called the Lords of War, based in Bolton as well. Which is mainly around 40k, and that's predominantly what they play, to be fair. They're my two main clubs over time, and as I fancy the old was coming back, and the likes of the lads, I can shout names out for, but all the lads have been around for years, Dave, Max, Mark, and all them lot coming back into it yourself. And it was, I just jumped back onto the Northern Warlords because that's my origin club, and it's never going to be otherwise. We're Warlords till we die, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? I know you kind of jumped to it, didn't you, at one point, and I'm not interviewing you for a different club, but you're still one of us regardless, and that's never changed. Affiliations wise, would love to be a playtester at some point in the future, but never been a rules writer before, although I've been in the background, if you would. But that's been my affiliations, really, and that's my clubs.
I do know that you have a hankering to get onto the England Warhammer team, but you've not managed it as of yet.
Yeah, so I only tried it once, first time this year, actually, with Richie's captain. Top bloke, of course. I only met him once at one of the events in Wales, and then he had to disappear for some emergency. Strive to do it at some point in the future when they feel like I'm good enough to jump on the team. I know where I think I stand and all that, and the rankings say back that up as well, but let's see. It's not to me. It's up to other powers that be. And I know team play is very different to individual play.
Yeah.
I've done quite a bit of it in 40k, so I know it's the nuances of a team, the balance, all that kind of stuff that goes in the background. So we'll see what happens next year, and whether I can get in. We'll see.
I know back in the day, you probably definitely would have got in my team. You would have definitely probably got in a few teams after that. But it's about having the finances available as well. Like,
yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, going and playing war games abroad. God, it nearly cost me my marriage.
You're still married to lovely Donna, aren't you, as well? So.
I am, yes. But it's not something you can just take on lightly. You've got to basically, the guys these days are a lot more, and I'm going to put this out there, a lot more committed than we did back then. The amount of reps that they're putting in, having Discord servers, playing on Warhol all the time, it's a much bigger commitment than we put in back in 2008, I believe it was.
Yeah, about 2008 for you guys.
Yeah, we set up a committee, we picked a team. To be honest, the team mainly picked itself through people who could actually afford to go and play in it.
Yeah.
There were good players, don't get us wrong. Peter was picked from the 3 or 4 best clubs in the country. I think it's different these days. Me and you, I'm not massively interested in it anymore. I've been there, done that. But yourself, you've got the expendable income now, the time, family's up a bit. So it is definitely.
That's precisely it, isn't it? It's, this is the first year in all the times that we've had an opportunity to go. I've had the finances to back me up, and it was quite kind of a little bit gutted I didn't get in. But like I said, it's not. It may happen in the future. And like I said, the commitment is mad.
Yeah. If you keep your rankings placed up, they've definitely got to have a look at you. I think we will definitely give you a chance later on to talk about the tournament anecdotes from the Northern Warlords, because I think that's mainly what this chat show is all about.
Absolutely, right. Yeah.
But
where'd you start?
Yeah, I think it was safe to say the Warlords was. The Dragon Slayers are going to hate me for this, but the Warlords were the best club in the country.
The Dragon Slayers can hate you all they want, mate. They can hate me as well. They know, and we know, we were the best club by a mile. It was invite only. You weren't getting in if you weren't great. I think the only time it slightly got a bit hayward when we took on Asger Sandsgrenard from Denmark. He was an amazing player, but obviously we got on with him really well. That was the one time I think we stepped beyond our borders.
A lad who couldn't drink.
Yeah, and he couldn't. He's a Viking. He couldn't drink very well. I remember him being bundled in my room at about 4:30 a.m. after leaving him in a bar. I think it was a Harvey Haddon in Sheffield. But
my best recollection of him was when we tried to do the cream egg challenge at the Sheffield Slaughter. And I think he was asleep under one of the buffet tables by 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Oh my God. The eating challenges were just some of the things, but they're the clean things, weren't they? Until afterwards, when everyone was being ill.
Yeah, I mean, the Warlords did every Christmas. We went back to the Warlords' spiritual home of Hartlepool. And
Aye,
we normally had some kind of little game and event where we played each other. And I
which was
believe
ridiculously competitive because we were really good at what we did.
that was the first time me and you ever played.
It was, I believe, yeah.
And afterwards, we would go and have, I think one year we went to a Pizza Hut and had a pizza eating challenge where you had to do the most slices.
I
Another
remember the
year,
number as well, mate. Brendan and Tristan, 27
that
slices
was,
each.
it
What
was,
was it?
it was Daz and
Daz, yeah.
went 27 slices of pizza.
Oh, no, just thinking about 20. Bear in mind, this is for everybody who's listening now. The 27 slices weren't the small pizzas you get from Asda. These were like the big 16-inch ginormous things from Pizza Hut. 27 slices is like eating, 5 pizzas? And then they had, was it a Swiss roll off at the
No,
end?
that was the went to the Chinese restaurant.
Oh,
But
God,
in
yeah.
the Chinese restaurant, you had to have Max measured your plate to make sure it was qualifying, and you had to do the entire plate. And then that was where Tristan got into the final with Brendan once again.
There we go, yeah. That's the Tristan one.
Was it a Swiss roll off?
Yeah, and the Swiss roll off for everybody else is basically eating Swiss roll en masse.
With no fluid, just Swiss rolls.
It was ridiculous. That was just the clean eating challenges. I say clean because all the other stuff we did was not clean at all, and God knows how some of us didn't get arrested at different points. But anyway, we'll talk about it a little bit further on.
Yes, we'll come back to that later. So I know the answer to this next question.
Yeah.
But it is your favourite army.
I see. Okay. Well, I think anybody who knows me, who's known me for 20 odd years, it's vampires. As simple as that. Now, when I say vampires, it's quite loosely at the moment because no one's seen a vampire on a table for 2 years, at least. Yeah, she was called Necromancers. But yeah, the vampires have been my bread and butter for a long, long time. I picked up a nickname a long, long time ago. Steve Halliwell gave me this name as Von Trick Pony, as in do the German vampire thing. And the running joke was I'd played with vampires such a long time, so I decided to jump armies and basically played with about 13 different races at different points and did very well with all 13, which is why it stuck. But yeah, vampires, literally my number one army by a landslide.
When I spoke to you about, because you were one of the first people I spoke to when the Old World was announced and I was talked into playing it, you were big into Wood Elves at that point.
I was, mate, yeah. So that's what I hopefully qualified me for the Team England place. But yeah, Wood Elves played first event. First event was April last year. I think it was. What year we are now? Yeah. So when it first came out in 2023, was it? It's been about 18 months now, and 20 months give or take the Old World. Wood Elves were my first pick. It's just a very different army to vampires. It plays differently, which is I think where your strengths and your skills come in. Learning about anything else you can possibly play in. I know that the vampires ignore half the rules in the game. Wood Elves don't. They've got to play the hit and run side of Warhammer. Yeah. It's extremely different, and I love the movement aspect, the aesthetics, the way the army look. Yes, it's all 3D printed because I know GBW hate 3D prints, but you didn't release the models, so tough. You release the rules, we'll print the models. Won my first GT, won my second GT, and so on and so forth, and did really, really well with them. I think podiumed 4 out of 5 with Wood Elves.
Very finesse army, Wood Elves. I mean, again, another army I've played, which I probably can say to every army that we'll ever discuss. Because, like yourself, I've played
around a lot.
Of all the armies out there, Wood Elves are the most finesse army. Where get something wrong, and you're taking the table.
Yeah. It's a glass cannon. It's the definition of a glass cannon I've ever seen in my life. Wood Elves just melt into everything, and you've got to get bang on right every time. Yeah. It's hard. It's tiring playing them.
And much the same as vampires, they're a frustrating army because they don't play by the normal rules.
Correct.
Whereas vampires, yes, they want to fight you in combat and they want to grind you down and they're not going to run away. Wood Elves don't want to fight you in combat. In fact, they don't want to fight you full stop. Want to run around the board, dink you, trick you, magic you. And sadly, I think they're the army that's been hammered the most by FAQ and 1.5 to the point where...
Doesn't suit them at all, does it, mate? At all.
No, practically nobody's touching them at the moment. And it's a big shame that probably me and you have got big boxes of them that aren't going to see light of day on the table in, I think, the rest of 1.5.
Yeah, I think there's rumours about, obviously we know some lads who are in the playtest community, and there's rumours about an FAQ in Feb, March, but I think version 2 is going to be the back end of next year, so we've got another 12 months of the current carnage which is going on with Cathay, etc., etc. Wood Elves are dead. there's arguments in our circle who are the best players in the country, and we kind of know where they are from the rankings, but there are others, involved in that as well. They don't play enough tournaments. And everyone's opinion, one of my best mates, Mark Muslek, who's currently ranked about 7th and should be higher than that. He will be higher than that soon. He's the same as me. They're a dead duck at the moment, and I've wrote 50 lists. They don't work because you can't hold points.
We survived the advent of the dragon, so we can survive the advent of the balloon, I believe.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah. But the problem with dragons is you only ever played 2 or 3, 3 in the worst chaos lists. The balloon Armageddons, you can get 8 or 9 on the list, which is just stupid.
Just can't see any tournaments allowing more than 3, I think.
God, 2, mate. 2's plenty.
Yeah, 2's plenty. And 2 bombing balloons. I think 2 of the normal shooty ones on the end of the world.
No, the bombing balloons are busted.
It's the character, ward save, bomb, that kind of balloon. That is the one that is spoiling the game currently.
You bomb twice a turn without going over the unit. Like every other bombing thing of the game has to go over a unit. This one stands near you, then runs off.
We can sit and slag off the rules design team till the cows come home, but
it's not them, mate.
Well, no, it wasn't play tested properly.
When it is, they have to listen to play testers, don't they? There's different groups that put their input in, so they listen to some bits from one, some bits from another, and it lands the way it lands. It is the way it is.
Anyway, we have covered off vampire counts are your favourite army.
Absolutely.
Just one little question: why is that?
Oh my God, everything about undead. So one of my favourite things to do is I'm a massive horror buff. Love me horror movies, love everything undead, whatever type it is, zombie films, vampire films, it works. And it's the aesthetics of all of it and the thoughts of, behind it all the background story, the history of, in our own history of real life with vampires and Dracula and all kinds. I love it all. The aesthetics for the army, you can do so much with them. So, I think one of my favourite armies of all time isn't one of mine. It's one of Jeff Borrett's, where he basically built a vampire army from bits. It was like a head on a spider legs and
the weird doctor's laboratory. Or
something. My God, yeah, it was. And it's still amazing. I think he's still got it on his shelf. It's an amazing army. But that's the kind of thing that pulls you into vampires and undead. You can do all that kind of stuff. Chaos, the same reason. In 40k, Chaos was my favourite army in 40k because I just loved everything you could do with it. You pick up your bits box, stick some arms on, a bit of green stuff, mould it a little bit, and you've got the thing, if you would, from the movies. And it's just, all that kind of stuff. That's the reason why I love vampires, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've had, I think, 4 or 5 vampire armies over the years.
So I'm on 5. Yeah. Painted about 6,000 skeletons and zombies. About 8 terrorgeists. Yeah.
Many gravestones, many arms popping out the ground. They've got great modelling potential. Again, this is part of why I've just done another army.
It's stunning, mate. That's the graveyard, the cemetery, the mortuaries, mausoleums, the trees. It looks fantastic.
It was just so fast to crack out. Right, we have got another banner coming up.
Uh-oh.
Best game.
Right. I actually wrote notes before this, as I said before we started. And I came up with one. It's probably not even the one, but it's the one that popped into my head the most because it's the first game not the first game, but the first tournament I went to for the old world. If Kev Weaver's watching, I do apologise because it's going to immortalise it on this video. Kev's been around for a little while. He's disappeared off the scene for about 12 months due to personal stuff, but I'm sure he'll be back. So I'll paint the picture for you all using Wood Elves. I've not got much counter punch because I'm obviously a Wood Elf player. You just kind of hit, run, hide the Highland way if you're into the Braveheart fan. Yeah. 4th game in the tournament, first GT of the old world, and he runs at me full tilt with a Beastman Wall of Flesh with about 600 wounds, 12 Dragon Ogres, 8 piggies, the Razor Gores, his chariots, his teleporting TMP, and I'm going to say bullshit there because TMP, it's now been fixed, but Christ, that was bullshit when it was a thing. And he ran at me, and he went first, and I literally stood back for about, I think I said to Kev, I've known him for years at 40k. I said, just give me 5 minutes, don't talk to me. It wasn't like an offensive thing. It's just step back. And I do this quite a lot in tournaments when I'm up against it. I'll step back and just go, give me 5 minutes, don't talk to me. And I did I've said to you before, prior to this podcast, a Queen's Gambit thing on the table where you're running through what happens if I do this, and you go in angles and angles and angles and everything. And I pulled off 9 charges my first turn with Wood Elves. So I was charging my Glade Guard to pull things sideways, charging my Scouts to pull them out of position, and then just hit him with everything. And the 8 charges almost took him off. And he literally turned to me and went, how on earth did you just do that? That's my best game so far I can think of. There's been other ones. There's been many others, and my opponents over the last 2 years have been amazing. I've had some favourite players, and Scott knows this. Scott Reed, who's a Team England lad, just said to literally the other day, he's my favourite player I've played against in the last 10, 15 years. He's just a top bloke. I know he's a good friend of yours as well, so I could list loads, mate. Honestly, best games.
Yeah, me and Scott played at Durham. It's the first time we've ever played a game together because we seem to have our tournament and playing seems to have missed each other.
Yeah,
it's true of quite a few people, but yeah, he's a cracking guy. I'm looking forward to playing him again shortly. We have tentatively booked in a game at his house or somewhere anyway. He's very, very busy at the moment because obviously Team England's going to be releasing their army list shortly, so they've been getting the reps in. So I haven't harassed him. It'll happen when it happens. I know he was going to there's a Newcastle tournament coming up shortly where we might have got the chance to play, but I go on my holidays, so I'm going to miss that one.
Yeah, not going. Real life gets in the way sometimes. We're all adults now. We're not kids anymore.
Imagine having to go on holiday. Little killers. Not playing Warhammer that day. Sitting on a plane, flying to a Tenerife.
Jump a Warhol, mate. Jump a wall, play my Warhol on the plane.
What about best game ever in fantasy? Because I remember, you probably remember this years ago, you and Jeff playing each other in the last round of a GT final at the Warhammer World. And
I was going to that one in my head straight away when you asked me the best game ever. Yeah.
I remember finishing my game early just to come and watch the table.
It was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I recently watched you play Charlie at the Durham event. I am a big lover of just coming and silently watching people play the game.
You've got loads, don't you, as well? Even it doesn't matter who you're watching. Any probably top 50, 100 players, they've all got little nuances and stuff that make a big difference. But yeah, I think that's exactly right. What I was going to. So what you're referring to is that the famous game, isn't it? We played Jeff probably back in, let's call it 2001, 2002, and me and Jeff had, through luck or skill, whichever you want to say, blasted everybody off the table, and we literally just annihilated everybody on 1 million points, and I think it was 80 points as well at the 80. We played him last game.
Yeah.
Table one, and it's the one event actually I've never actually won. It's still an embarrassment to this day, but I can't return to GW right now because they won't let me play with my toys. It's either 3D printed stuff, because it is, and they don't allow legacy factions. It's their own game system, so I won't have a go at GW, but come on, guys. Legacy is part of the game. You designed it. It's your models. I don't care if they're in Age of Sigmar. We were here first. Give us our models back. Anyway, rant over. Back to the game.
Vampire on Vampire, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Vampire upon Vampire, yeah. And I don't even think they were the best army back then, to be fair. It was one of them, like, me and Jeff were obviously really good friends, if not best mates at the time. And we just bounced off each other all the time, very much like me and Mr. Muslet do now on a daily basis. And which is why there's no secrets when we ever have the tournament with almost the same list, which is the same thing at Toy Soldier last weekend. Almost identical lists. Guess what? We're both decent players, we both know what we're doing, and the army's good, so why would you not? But this game was, my God, the one thing I remember was turn one. And it's Gaze Nagash, which I don't even think exists anymore. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. And he hit my Black Knights with a Gaze Nagash. So it's 2d6 strength 4, never change a spell, no armor piercing whatsoever on a 2-up save unit, heavy knights. And out the 2d6, he killed 8 of my knights turn 1. And I was up against it. And that's a game I lost that game. I can't remember what score it was, and Jeff went on to win the tournament. I think I came 3rd or 4th, whatever it was. But that's one that's stuck in my head forever because I never won that tournament. No. And every one I have. I've got various lovely GW trophies in my cabinet, seconds, thirds, several of them, the beautiful plaques.
Yeah.
But not got the gold.
No, it always was the one that got away from you, and I was very surprised that you never got a win in it.
It is what it is, mate.
Yeah, we did try many times. I mean, you've got wins in the WPS Warhammer GT, you've got wins in the Club Challenge, wins at probably every club event around the country.
Not that one. Yeah. I think before I moved house, I've been here now 11 years, 10 years actually, sorry. And I don't know, I know Muslet's done the same thing, Matt. We tend to bin trophies when we move, because luckily we've been lucky enough to have some lovely ones. One of my favourites is still the one I won from your tournament, the Northwest, is it up in Newcastle?
Eastside Terror.
Yeah, the gold plaque that was on the wooden platform with the gorgeous Warhammer and shield. One of my favourite ones, and that's one of the first. That's the first one I won when I met my wife. So she never gave me back, and I had to move in with her. And now we're married. 20 years later, mate. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. GW will eventually let everyone play with the toys, and I appreciate it. It's not 3D prints, but we will get there at some point, and we'll see. But in the interim, I'll settle for the 100+ tournaments I've won over the last 25 years. That'll do nicely.
Yeah, it's good going, and it dwarfs meager. I used to be proud that I had a bit of a trophy cabinet going on, but it would never be 100 tournaments. So let's have a quick look at this, because I'm not sure.
What's next?
Wooden table. Are you still just adding to the vampires, or have you got any new projects? What are you doing?
Currently, with the games room, you can't really tell because it's just nothing on the wall behind me, basically. But lovely cabinet over there with currently one half painted Beastman army, and unfortunately, some of the 3D prints, which GW can say, well, if we bought ours, this would never happen, have popped in the heat. So all the residents come out, so the pigs are all dead, all the Resigolds are dead, and some of the Dragon Ogres are dead. It is what it is. So I've got to go back to that. But will I do that? I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you. I'm still tweaking the vamps as we go in, so I'm adding bits and bobs, the odd units here and there we go. I've got a lovely Bretonnian converted army on the shelf, unpainted but fully assembled. Might do Brett's. As I was chatting to you just before we started this chat today, I mentioned Cathay, which is swearing in every single circle in Warhammer at the moment. I don't know if I can do it to myself or anybody else, and it's just get comped to death. And then GW will sell £1 million worth of them, and then they'll probably FAQ them into the ground, which they do with most things. Yeah, they'll make them crap. So yeah, it's mainly Brett's probably next, and some additional vampire stuff. But having just done 9 tournaments pretty much in the last year, 9 GTs. I'm podium in 8, and 7th in the one I didn't. I was badly ill as well, to be fair. That's my excuse. And Ollie from Team Wales, the captain, will testify to that. I had 3 nosebleeds. I think I'd lost about 3 stone in weight because I had no blood left. But yeah, that's what's next. Cool. Next question.
Yeah, I've just committed myself. One of the WhatsApp chat groups I'm in, an old friend of mine, Gareth, bought some Tomb Kings to give the old world a try, but he's a War Machine player at heart, and he just wants the money back to play War Machine. So he's offered us a decent price on the box set. So I'll be picking them up on Monday. I'll be getting called names again. Stephen Toll likes to call us the Meta Chaser. My fault that people just making dead fast.
I love Steve, but my God, he doesn't have to wind people up for fun, doesn't he?
I know. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to start them straight away or if I'm just going to stick them under the table for now. I still have a fair bit of vampire stuff I want to add.
You've already just done them as well, so get some games on your belt and get some reps in.
I only just done Cafe. I played an event with them in about 2 warm-up games, parked them up because they were getting grief. I'd only just done before that my Minotaur army. I think I played them twice. Didn't even play a tournament with them, parked them
up. I wouldn't either.
Well, like yourself, the Minotaurs were my introduction to Beastmen. I have actually done a load of the Tuskors and some Wizards on Chariot, but I also went the 3D printed route, and I'm very clumsy currently, so I've smashed a few of them. Yeah. So, and I can't even find some of the parts. So the Beastmen will be coming at some point in the future, but at the moment they're a bit broken.
Yeah, I was gonna say a really good friend of mine, Jerry Brawley, I know you know as well.
Yeah.
He bought an Orc and Goblin army off Mark about a year ago, and then dropped the boxes about 6 months ago. And he literally texted me must have been a couple of days ago, and he said, "I've just basically grabbed my bollocks and went, I'm gonna have to open these and look how bad they are." And his first text was, "Oh my God." I'm so sorry, mate. All 3D printed. I think he said that everyone snapped off at the ankles. The orcs, the goblins, the wyverns broken, all the doomed out. It's like, where'd you start? So that's the benefit of GW figures. Most of them bounce because they're plastic.
Well, let's do this out of order. I'm going to tell you about my worst of times now that we're talking about destroyed armies.
Oh, go on.
Many moons ago, I'd done a traditional blue Tomb King army. It's funny that I'm just getting the Tomb Kings again. I couldn't play them for toffee, just couldn't get them to graph back in 6th and 7th edition. I think it was 7th edition it would have been. So I sold them to somebody abroad. Can't remember who he was anyway. They went, and then I got a message. Andrew, and he just sent us this photograph of the box. And I was like, oh no, I know what's coming here.
Not packaged well.
They were packaged well, and they were all individually bubble wrapped, but I think whatever courier took them to the door had kicked them over a fence or something. They were atomized. So I agreed to take them back and to rebuild them. My cost of shipping and my cost of replacing any models that couldn't be fixed. Keith, it was a 7-month project putting these back together.
Oh my God! Sometimes, I think literally my Beastman right now, I'm tempted to throw them in the bin and just go, well, they're only 80 quid. If it was GW price, it'd be like, say, 8,000 quid, but 80 quid, put them in the bin, start again. Sometimes it's just not worth it.
When I got to the end of it, I actually sat down and thought, you know what, I could have painted that army again. If it hadn't, necessitated buying all the models again, I could have painted that army again in in half the time.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to. I had all the bits there, but it was like some of the skeleton's arms had broken in 2 bits.
Yeah, trying to stick together a 3mm space or 2mm space.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
I'd done the Lord's work. I rescued this army. I got it back to look, and I think about 90% of what it looked when I sold it. And then my heart was in my mouth when I sent it back to him.
Flown over to Italy, wherever it was, and just give it to him. Yeah. His dog, go, there you go, mate. It's fixed.
Yeah, but it got there. It got there fine the second time. That was kind of me giving up on ever selling armies on eBay anymore. I was just like, no, that's that.
Not worth the risk. Yeah,
worth the risk. So what this section is about is not 8th edition. That's my worst at times. But what do you think was the worst thing that ever happened to Warhammer?
Oh, easy, mate. The end times. There's no other way about it. I get GW are an amazing company and make an amazing game for us to play. Fantastic, thank you. And then I know the tournament circuit kind of probably killed fantasy because they weren't selling anywhere near as many models, but they weren't doing the updates, and that's what generates. They've learned from that mistake now. Yeah. But why kill our hobby? I know it's your game, but my God, I think I rage quit. I looked at the rules for the Age of Sigmar when it first came out, and I was actually on the playtest team for about 3 days, and I saw the 2-page documents and laughed and sent it back and went, nah, no chance. They ripped the heart out of the hobby. And literally from that point, I jumped on 40k, I jumped on WAB, because I want to play games. I want to play GW games.
Yeah.
That was horrendous. And it's like having your best film you've ever seen, whatever it is, and then it's being taken away from production. I'll never see it again.
Oh, they made a really, really bad remake.
Yeah, there's plenty of them around. Wait, do you mean the old world? The Warhammer, the old world's like a bad remake? It's not. It is.
No, I mean, I was lucky in that I got out of it in 8th edition. I didn't have to suffer the end times. I didn't have to suffer the hobby coming to an end, a cataclysm. Yeah. And Shane had exactly the same. They were the worst of times as you.
Yeah.
I've got a funny feeling I might have to retire this section because it might get a bit old.
The same. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. When my next guest comes, and if he says the same thing, I'm retiring section.
Are you having next? Have you thought about it yet?
Oh, I know. I don't want to spoil it just yet. But speaking on Sunday, it's going to be hot off the heels of this one.
Get Steve Toland. He'll moan about not being UK number 1 anymore.
Yeah, I'm hopefully I've got a tournament on Sunday, and then on Sunday night when I get home, shattered and knackered, be doing the chat. If not, we'll have to reschedule it for next week.
Cool, man. Look forward to it.
All right, then. Up next, we're just going to have a...
No one laugh.
Let's kick off some dodgy pictures. So
it's a shitty 90s curtains. I think I had then. I'm a lot smaller as well at that point.
Yeah, this is Alan Thompson, if I remember rightly.
It is, yeah. The best farter in the room, mate. His gas was horrendous.
Yep, and let me see if I can identify the tournament. I want to say
it's a Sheffield Slaughter, mate.
Sheffield Slaughter, yeah. That's the stage at the back of the room.
It certainly is, mate. The Harvey Haddon Sports Centre in lovely Sheffield, with the worst travel lodge I've ever stayed in my life up the road, which was...
I'm going to have to correct you here, Keith. The Harvey Haddon's in Nottingham.
Oh, is it?
I'm sure this is the stage at the... I can't remember what the...
Oh, yeah, you're right. You are right, mate.
Yeah, it's the Upstairs Social Club. I can't remember its name.
Neither can I. No, you're right. You are right. Harvey Haddon's not there. That's right. Cool.
But we're going to move on from... So was this one of your first ever wins, was it?
I'll be honest with you. We dropped onto the WPS group, so Warhammer Players Society, for all the people who don't know it, and all the fetuses in the chat and listen to this, who's under the age of about 60. We had the Warhammer Players Society back in the day, and it was run by Conrad, who was a top bloke, and he did it all free of charge, just for the love of the hobby, and played sometimes as well. And it was amazing. That was our community. This tournament, I think, was about 2001, I'm going to say. Early Warlords tops, because they're the old T-shirts before we had the polo tops made. So I'm thinking I'm about 18, 19 there, which is why I look like an absolute twat with a haircut like that. But anyway, thanks to the 90s. And as I mentioned before, that photo reminds me of something that we should be doing now, as in winning full armies, not just a couple of events.
Back then there was some amazing prize support.
Full army of high elves. I sold in about 2 weeks because I didn't like what else. I think that was probably in the first, I'm going to say maybe first 5 or 10 GTs. I can't remember. There's so many GTs back in the day. For the youngsters who do it now, and the Tolls who do it now, even Daddy Toll, who's probably, I think he's older than me, who do like 80 tons a year. Yeah, I think we do. Back in the day of the Warlords, the club, we used to do 15, 16 GTs a year. and a couple of one-dayers. And it never felt like I was home. I'm amazed I kept a relationship down as a kid, to be fair. That was probably in the first 5 or so. Didn't win the first 2 tournaments I went to. I came 16th and 16th, I remember really, really clearly. The first Club Challenge, the Club Challenge won. The second one was a GT, take your pick, don't know which one it was. And then I went to the Ribble Rumble just before Christmas in 1999.
GT event.
Yeah. And it's still going now, that apparently, but they don't have the Warhammer All World or 40k in it, so it is what it is. And I won my third event ever. That's probably my second or third GT win. So, 5, something like that.
Sheffield Slaughter was always January. It was always the
was.
inaugural tournament of the year. So it was always done in January.
It snowed quite a lot as well. You couldn't get cars started in the car park.
Here's a one for you. Let's see if you can name at least 10 tournaments off the calendar from back in the day.
10?
Yeah.
Oh my! My brain space has
I'm
gone.
I'm banning the GWGT and the Club Challenge.
That'll be the first 2. Okay. Ribble Rumble.
Definitely, yeah.
Sheffield Slaughter.
2.
Boo, Dragon Slayers. Weymouth War.
Yes, Weymouth War.
Oh my God! Now I'm struggling.
What about South Coast?
Oh no! I'm lost, mate. That's as far as I go. I remember all the recent ones. Pompey Pillage. I've never been there, by the way. I've been to Plymouth since. I've Portsmouth since, but on a 40k. Yeah, go on.
There was I can't remember what it was called, but the one the Troll Slayers ran, the Troll Slayers GT.
Oh, the Birmingham one. Oh, they'll kill us for even getting this wrong, to be fair.
There's no Troll Slayers about these days.
Especially Peggy. Well, Peggy's around. He's still a boxing coach, and he's a movie producer as well now. He's made some movies.
And a book writer.
Yeah, he's a very good. John Peggy, if you're watching this, get back to the old world, mate. I miss our little stories. The scariest little man I've ever seen in my life. The loveliest bloke as well. He's amazing.
Let me see if I can remember any more.
I said 10 before. I was like, what? I can do probably 2 or 3.
Obviously, later on there was the Teesside Tear Up. There was the Welsh one.
I never went to Wales, I never went to Wales. You did yours? The Northern Warlords tournaments at Christmas, of course, but that wasn't for everybody else.
Yeah, then there was the Warlords when they started doing it at Warrington.
Oh my God, the Warlords GT.
Warlords GT, yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That was kind of I call them the after Warlords. They weren't the real Warlords.
Yeah, you know what? If I offend anybody else by saying this, I agree with Sib on this. The Warlords who came on board and have our tops on right now, you've got our name, but you're not a Warlord, I'm sorry. And I love some of the 40k guys who wear them as well.
Just obviously looking at the T-shirt you had on there, I don't know if you can remember the T-shirts that Ralphie got us done.
Obviously, Ralphie's one of my best mates, and he's currently cowering down south in Peterborough, where he lives. He comes to our house quite often, to be fair. And he's a great mortgage broker, but he will not go to the tournament. He can't win, or doesn't have a chance of winning. And these days, I don't think he could win against top 100.
I remember those T-shirts because they lost me a tournament. They were so thick and heavy. I don't know if it's bringing back memories. The ones with the big, massive Warlords badge on the back.
Yeah, I do. And the actual embroidery weighed about 3 stone, and then there was a polo top on top, which was a thick material. Yes, I remember.
They were the thickest, heaviest T-shirts, and I nearly passed out in a GT I was playing just because the T-shirt was so heavy.
I tell you what, mate, how many tournaments have you been to where you've played topless? Because I played topless at Toy Soldier. Toy Soldier? Oh, I've just been at Toy Soldier. Ever fit Toy Soldier?
Imagine that, Keith. Imagine that. It's going to ruin you.
When I went to the weekend, I said to my first opponents I've known from 40k years, I said, I'm defending champion. I won the last one 10 years ago, and obviously came second to this one. A joint on points, but lost to Pash on VPs. But yeah, I had to forget Toy Soldier, my favourite event.
Yeah, another one. It was more of a WAB event. There was a big one at Loughborough University, and I'm hoping Mark will tell us about what it was later on.
Yeah, the Loughborough University one was WPS. They held it Club Challenge there, and they actually held the WPS GT there a few times as well.
Yeah,
they couldn't see either of them two. But I remember Loughborough.
So I'm going to switch to this photograph, which is your most recent. Was it third or second place? Second place.
Yeah, it was second, mate. All I'm going to say, Dave will keep Davey Harvard on the right side there. Is again lifelong friend.
That's Dave Lieberman, the Jew.
You know what? I looked at him the other day. I was like, "You look Hamish, mate." But yeah,
he's definitely from an Amish paradise.
He looks like a lifelong friend of both of us, isn't he? Really. Yeah, I look a bit more manly now rather than the boy. Yeah, Sunday, Toy Soldier at the Element Games. First tournament ran by Mark Muslek and Dave Harbord for years, literally about 10 years. Amazing turnout. It was like an assassin's row of horribleness. There was 15 or 16 top players in I think the top 24 in the Masters, all in one row. It was, you look left and right, you were sat near just assassins, like ninja row. Second, just in front of Mark Muslek in third. Pash won the event. All three finished on the same score, and I lost on VPs. And I said before, Dave will have he'll have a little dig at me. All I've done for the last week, this week, is mention Breakpoint, and I forgot Breakpoint in one of my games, and I got a 5-1 rather than a 6-0.
Didn't you forget something at Durham that cost you the tournament?
Yeah. So you remember that as well, of course. That was the last one I went to before this. And I played Sam Toll, one of the baby assassins, so Steve Toll's sons, who are cracking guys. I keep playing Tolls for fun, but I love playing them all. And I played Sam last game and forgot the objective. So we played a stupid objective fight in the middle, everything that died within 24 inches, which was a crazy scenario, because you were there as well, weren't
you? Yeah.
You got VPs for, and I just forgot to put the 200 on at the end. And that would have put me second or first. I can't remember which way anyway it was. But I was driving back home, chatting to Mark in the car, and I'm like, oh my God, I've just forgotten this. But to caveat all this, the Durham tournament was my second GT in a row. I'd done 2 weekends back to back at Black Country, first in Walsall, then Durham. I'd worked 60 hours a week for the 3 weeks before that, and all the way through in the gap week in between. I was knackered. And I said to Sam, hopefully he'll attest to this, keep me honest, mate, because I'm not cheating, I'm just knackered and forgetting rules for fun.
And this is one of the things, like when I went to my first ever tournament, I did not have any understanding of how mentally taxing and challenging it could be, especially a 2-day one.
Physical as well. It's knackering, isn't it?
Yeah, where you've got, the first one I ever went to was a GWGT with you guys. We stayed at the PG and Duncan Hotel in Nottingham.
Oh my God, yes. It was yesterday's.
Yeah. So on the Friday night, we kind of helped somebody paint an army.
In the dark.
We might come back to that.
Yes, we'll come back to that, yes.
Basically...
was that the poker night weekend as well, and all the craziness?
Yeah, it was a mental weekend. And I mean, I was knackered before I got to the tournament on the Saturday morning.
But when we were younger, mate, we didn't sleep, if you remember. The amount of nights I stood up on the Saturday, just didn't go to sleep, and then played another 2 games on the Sunday, and we're still drunk.
Yeah, I just remember arriving on the Saturday morning, bedazzled at Games Workshop. I'd never been there before. I'd never been in the big tournament hall like it used to be, not like it is now.
Yeah, was that the old Castle Keep in the middle? Stunning, isn't it?
It was absolutely stunning. And then having to qualify, not just play, but having to qualify for a bloody final.
Yeah. The old heats, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this was back then when we used to go downstairs and Gav Thorpe would do the little seminars on what was coming up.
Brian Anderton, was it?
Yeah, Brian.
Sneak peek, yeah.
We'd have the quiz on the night time. Who played Legolas in The Lord of the Rings? Rob Lane! You know, the quiz has just devolved into stupidity, but yeah, they were great nights. Right.
That all added to your score, didn't it? Yeah, the quiz, the painting, the sports, and the gameplay all added to your score.
No, I mean, it was only, you had to write a background. And
that's the points for background.
Yeah, you got 10 points for a background. The less said about that, the better. Because I'm pretty sure.
Can you imagine these days? Chat GPT, can you please give me a background on vampires? Start to write a background for you.
I might have done that already.
You've bought for the current edition.
Yeah. I was actually having a joke the other week. I think it was when we were going to the Durham event. In my little chat group, I was having a joke and saying, I remember back in the old days, so I'm actually going to name all my characters and I'm going to take a background with us and see if anyone actually bothers to read it. Forgot to get it out and put it on the table.
Tell you what though, lots did read it, and some of the stories you got were like tons. There's some like novelists in there that wrote amazing like mini stories. But I remember, do you remember Davey Arbord's army, Captain Spectacular at the Club Challenge?
Yeah.
And Snatch had come out, the film Snatch in 2000. They named all his Dogs of War characters after like Bullet Tooth Tony and stuff like that. It was brilliant, absolutely superb.
I can also remember Bodie's background about his nude werewolf army with the cocks.
Oh my God! I've not seen Bonnie for yonks, and never forget his party trick, mate. Would take his teeth out, put it in your pint, and then you'd never touch your pint. So he just got free drinks all night, walked around with his false teeth in your drinks. Madness. Is he still playing?
He's playing War Machine currently. He has played a few games of the old world, but like a few others up this way, War Machine being relaunched has grabbed them a bit.
Yeah,
that's for the best. Nothing good's going to come of Bodie coming back to the old world. We all love him, but at the same time, he's a hard nut to bear. Right, Keith, on the right hand side.
Has he changed though? Has he changed before we move on? Has he changed with the same person?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I'm amazed he's not in prison, to be fair.
He's changed a little bit. He's a good lad. He's a good fun lad.
He's always been a good lad, to be fair.
Yeah, but he just takes everything to level 11. He's like the Spinal Tap of any war game.
Oh my God, yeah, yes, yes, yeah, it is.
Well,
We had a few of them in our club, to be fair, though. So
oh, well, that's what the Warlords was, wasn't it? It was just like Spinal Tap of wargaming.
yeah, madness. Well, when I first met my wife, I don't know if you remember Tracy coming into the scene 20 years ago now, and I took her to one of our GT weekends. And I said, "Just if you can survive this, I'll marry you." And she did. And then she went to Toy Soldier, and I think Dave Yarber at one point said, "If he doesn't marry her, I will." And that was it. The rest is history. But
Well,
yeah,
we're going to come back to ladies when we look at the tournament anecdotes, but we're just going to quickly run through your army here. So this is your most recent army on the right hand side.
It's the Wood Elf army. It's a crap photo, to be fair. Then you move into the vampires, so ignore the different types of photos. One's an army picture of the Wood Elves, which is I won a painting award for that as well, to be fair, which I'm quite chuffed with. That's my current vampire army or units of the army: Terrorgeist, Spirit Horse, Zombies. This is why I love Warhammer. You can do so much with it. That's a werewolf unit for anyone who's not who didn't recognise it.
Yeah, I'll go back that. You're using these as ghouls.
Yeah, so as a Toy Soldier last weekend, because they are different to everything else, the lads let me use them as Graveguard because I have no shields and they have great weapons, as in big giant claws. And again, that's the hobby for you, isn't it? You can do anything with it. Imagine Run Riot.
And is this the Mortis engine you use?
Yeah, it's one of two. And obviously we've gone into one very shortly when the screams get nerfed or the mortises don't stack. It's a 3D printed bat swarms with a corpse cart floating on top of it and 2 branches attached. Then it looks cool. Again, anything you can do, your imagination you can do in this hobby, isn't it?
Definitely. Right. So we are going to move into the last and probably longest part of the of this podcast.
I know what's coming down. I know what's coming now.
You know what's coming, don't you? Let's talk tournament anecdotes. Now, there is one rule here. If we're going to completely rip somebody apart, well, that might lose them their job. We don't name them, yeah?
Okay, and yeah, I try to badmouth people who were challenging back in the day. I like the word challenging rather than being an absolute twat. And I'll try to be nice to my mates.
So I want to start off with, you were always famous for me for you and Aaron Scott. You know what's going to come here, don't you?
Oh my God.
Don't let your wife watch this podcast, but you and Aaron Scott used to love to put dolly birds on the end of the table and distract your opponents.
It works as well. Low cut tops, big boobs, that kind of thing. It works wonders.
Yeah, because it was a young gentleman, Anthony Spires, who came in a bit later on. He was another person,
wasn't it? He married Heather as well. Yeah.
He was another person who adopted this. Put my trophy wife on the end of the table, and see, I used to do it a different way. I used to just sit down at the table and think, right, how can I make my opponent as uncomfortable as possible? Push the table back, maybe pinch his chair, make sure the roll off they got the worst side of the table, put a massive wood or a massive building underneath their chin. I used to love the psychological warfare of making them so uncomfortable during the game. You know, I've took table sides that are terrible just because I didn't want to be at the other side of that table, squashed against a wall between 2 fat blokes. Or
the sun in your eyes, or the heat behind you, or whatever. Yeah.
One of my tournament tricks was the psychological warfare, but yours was putting a dolly bird on the table and distracting us.
Absolutely right, and again, it works. And same thing you said, mate, as well. The amount of tricks, we all. If you're into sports, there's loads of like nuances and tricks and wind-ups you can do to your opponents, especially in rugby. Like when you're standing back up, put your hand on the back of the head, shove it into the puddle or whatever that you're playing in because the pitch is shit.
Yeah.
It works at Warhammer as well, but I did mine through knowledge, really, knowing exactly what all my opponents' shit did and told them at the start of the game, and that gets in the head. And I think one of the biggest things for our hobby, and you'll be this, you've played at a high level for a long time like I have, if you're a known name, if that makes sense, and you're high up the rankings or whatever it is, and people who bother with that kind of stuff, you could hear the draw sometimes going, oh, for God's sake, I've got Keith, or I've got Mark, I've got Sabia. The psychological thing's massive, and it has been in every single sport, and I call our hobby a sport because I know we have some, larger war gamers and some who aren't, and so on and so forth, but it is knackering, so you have to be fit to do well.
If darts is a sport, then wargaming's a sport, I'm telling
you. Exactly right, yeah, exactly right. We all see Luke Littler recently with his kebabs and everything else, world number one, that kind of stuff. But it's knackering. If you've not done tournaments before and you're watching this, definitely do them because we're all amazing guys. There are no dickheads anymore because everyone... if someone else gets upset these days, everyone knows about it. And even if you've got the slightly more gamier types, and I won't mention any names at all, there's still good games. And it doesn't matter if you're top tables, middle tables, bottom tables, doesn't matter who you're playing against. they're always good games. I'm lucky enough to be good at the game, and I'm normally playing the better guys at the top tables. But you always get somebody else first round who, I always seem to get hard first round draws. But you play anybody in the tournament, you nice the guy you're playing in front of you or the girl. It's very, very rare these days, but you're still nice to them. Then they get middle table and enjoy themselves. Top tables are not horrible. They are competitive, and it's like an assassin's role, like I mentioned before, the most recent GT. But every single person at Hall I know now really well. I've not seen Pashy won the event, literally by Nat's whisker, with me behind him and Mark behind me. I've known Pash for got to be 20 years, and I hadn't seen him in 10. And he walked into Toy Soldier, and it's like man hugs galore, and it's brilliant. This hobby's amazing for that kind of thing. So, but yeah, definitely get to yourself to the tournament. I know I've digressed quite a bit.
I'm the same as you. I absolutely love tournaments. They changed my life. They changed who I was as a person. And yeah, towards the end, I think I'd done a bit too much, and I got into bother with the wife by just spending too much on the hobby, spend too much on like going away to tournaments.
Yeah,
and I did take an extended break out to just make sure that things were all right there.
Yeah.
But getting back into it, I'm loving the tournaments again. I'm loving catching up with like people like yourself, loads of other people that I've not seen in a good few years. People who I knew,
Yeah, we were really good mates. Like we're starting now, to be fair, but we were acquaintances for the last 10 years. And then Durham, what was it, 4 weeks ago, Durham? 5 weeks ago? Obviously up there on my own, because no lads down my neck of us could be asked travelling that far. And I'd just done Newcastle the week before for Sam Fender as well. So I've been up there twice. And then, he come out for a curry. Shane came with us and met lovely Gareth as well. His posh surname, is it Newton Williams or whatever it is, Gareth? He was at Toy Soldier this weekend. Again, I invited him because he's a London lad. He's just come to the tournament scene. But meeting with you guys for the first time in 10 years, and it felt like we had not seen each other for 10 years. It's like we see each other last week and talking about all sorts of shit. That's what makes this amazing. I say to everybody I speak to about the hobby, and anyone try and get into it, this is it. The hobby is, it's not your entire life. You've got life outside of it, like you've got marriage, you've got kids and all that kind of stuff. But your friends stay your friends forever.
Definitely.
25, 30 years, best mates. You know what I mean?
I think, like you said earlier, the majority of my friends these days come from gaming or through work, and it's weird that the people I grew up with, I spend so little time with. It is people in gaming and in my work circles who are actually my friends these days.
It's limited time, isn't it, when you get older? But
yeah.
And we've also got something major in common that we love talking about, like we're on this podcast now, an hour chatting about the hobby. And we've probably just scratched the surface, really.
Well, I think that's the commonality that makes friends, isn't it? Having something that you both enjoy, something that you both like. When I was like 32 and I got injured playing football and I stopped playing football, I didn't really want to watch it either. And a lot of my friends who were football based, I kind of drifted away from. It comes round the full circle that getting back into gaming, the first thing I'd done was I sent out the rallying cries, and I must have sent out 30 messages to people. A lot of the guys didn't get back in. I was very surprised, like Steve Halliwell, Marcus, a lot of the Dragon players, Matt Oakley, Lewis. There was loads of guys who I thought would be dying to get into Warhammer the Old World that didn't.
Yeah.
So it was quite a surprise. But at the same time, there was a load of guys that did get back in, and I'm hoping to get most of them on here for a chat.
I'm sure you will, mate. The WhatsApp group that we're in now, obviously yourself as well, you've got probably 15 guys in there who all got different stories. Some are similar, but we all know each other anyway. You'll get them all, mate. You're not going to be shortage of candidates for this channel.
No, definitely. So what we have here, Keith, is you've got a maximum of 15 minutes to go through, some of your favourite tournament anecdotes, things that have happened over the years, and I'm just going to sit back and enjoy.
Oh my God, mate. Right, okay. So where do we start? So any warlords watching this, I'll try to be nice to individuals who do certain things, but I'll give you a kind of background of what we got up to, I suppose. So obviously I joined the Warlords when I was 18, and when you're that young, you're absolutely fucking stupid. Best way of putting it. We are massive. Yeah, stupid. Now, I know these days we're all, married kids, sensible adults, but let's put it this way. We had a recap at Max and Jay's wedding, Max Horseman, Kevin Horseman, for the people who don't know him as Max, but everybody's called Max. Famous back in the day for his orange pants. He got married about 10, 12 years ago in the Lake District, and we spent, this is me and the missus, on a table with about 4 other people, ended up being about 25 people, without word of a lie. We had this big round table and this marquee next to a turning and burning boar, which was stunning, and about 4 hours worth of Warlord stories. So 15 minutes will scratch the surface. But the stuff we got up to summarise, was a 10-year hangover, I would call it. I started to write about this. I'm not really a writer, but I started to write about this about 8-9 years ago, and I stopped writing because it just got crazy. And I don't even know where the text is now. But things like stapling boxes to the club flag, walking to club challenge because I ripped them off Max, giving him a wedgie. And it wasn't even him who started. He started with somebody else. I ripped his boxes clean out from the back. And Max is not a light fellow.
He was quite big back in the day. I think he's lost a bit of weight.
Yeah. He used to be a really big fellow back in the day. Clean off the floor, boxes stapled to a flag. We mentioned Boney's teeth in pints of beer. I've drank. There's been drinks of P for Dares in the King John's in Hartlepool. Is that the pub where your feet stick to the floor? Oh my God! Left, as you mentioned before, Asger. I missed him, to be fair. He's a top bloke. We left him in the Sheffield Slaughter back room. You know, where they turn the lights off and pull the big partition wall across. Yeah. And God knows, to this day, still don't know how he ended up in my room in the hotel about half a mile away. Somebody dumped him in there. God knows who. God, what else did we get up to? Painting armies in the dark, you mentioned before. So I don't even know whose army it was. It was a Beastman army. I know it was a Beastman army.
No.
Was it not?
It was a Vampires army because we're called them Mr. Vampires.
Oh my God!
I can't tell you the lad's name.
This is exactly what we're talking. The better stories you've got. I know I painted the Beastman Shaman in the dark. So when they talk the dark, you know, these really dark pubs or these dark restaurants, whatever it is, mainly a pub where we're staying. The low light, it's almost like a candlelight from back in the 15th century, and you've got a big, massive tank brush in your hands, painting a really small detail model, dry brush style. And I know we painted this vampire army. Literally, there's about 15 of us doing it. It looks all right, didn't it? 3 colours minimum.
It was just, I think it was hoops in the end. We just put hoops around it.
Yeah. So what was the units this from? This one. Forgot that. Some of the, what else did we get up to? I remember running across someone's barge on the canal at the Nottingham tournament. I think.
Yeah, swimming in the water.
One of our club, peed into a chimney, which was actually occupied. Then went flying because it was icy when he jumped off to getting chased by the owner. Went flying, nearly killed himself. Swam across a bit of a canal before. That wasn't with the Warlords because they were doing some work on the canal. So we've got undressed and swam across this 12-foot section just to get to the other side of the canal bank. So we carry on walking to the hotel because we couldn't be arsed walking around 2 miles. My God. What else have we got, mate? Just give us some prompts because you were there at most of them.
The Warlords were famous for, I think the Dragon Slayers eventually got there, but we were the first club to win 5 club challenges and the first club to win 3 in a row.
I'm not even sure they won 5, but if they have won 5, it's when we stopped playing.
The Dragon Slayers had won 2, I believe, during when the Warlords were active, and then won 3 more later when it was when I was in the NWA and stuff like that.
We were there first. I know we were famous for playing really good players, so playing hard, having a mad crack. And when I said mad crack, it was carnage at some point, at various points to be fair, which is why I said the 10-year hangover before. But it defined my younger years, as in young adult years. I won't say my childhood, but I was 18 when I joined. But that 10 years was nuts. And I'm 45 now. And we often, when we chat about it, like at weddings and so on and so forth, we miss the days, but appreciate them, that they can't be like that anymore because we're more sensible and don't want to go to prison for daft stuff. But wow, it was just amazing. And without the Warlords, that would not have been a thing for me in my life, and I'm grateful for all of it. I'm still friends with everybody who was part of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I don't often chat about, and I don't think we ever did have I got to, I think I might have been about 30. 2 things that kind of ended the Warlords for me was it just got too radical.
It did.
I don't want to mention the kind of the thing that tipped it over because I don't think a lot of people know about it. And
there's some negative things, weren't there, to be fair?
Yeah. There was certainly a few things where I went a little bit too far as a club, but also I was desperate to play for a club that represented the Northeast only, and the Warlords, especially when Asgard came into it, it just went international. Like as I said earlier, it was invite only. The northern part of the name had just become nothing. It was just the Warlords. If you were one of the top players in the country, you got an invite in and you were a Warlord. Some conversations with the people that I started the NWA with, we were desperate to have a club that represented the Northeast because the Dragon Slayers were very much Sheffield, Nottingham based.
Yeah, they were.
All
Yeah.
players were very much Birmingham-based. Terra Nova Griffins, who cropped up, were very much
Kind of like, yeah, Cheadle Hume, that kind of neck of the woods. Yeah.
called, I was going to say, very much knackers. They're not watching, so I can call them anything I want.
Yeah, no one plays anymore from TNG. It's just died.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was kind of a big part of basically why I drifted away from the Warlords. I never really wanted to leave them, but a lot of the guys I was playing with on a regular basis wanted a Northeast club,
Yeah.
wanted to be entering the club challenge and seeing genuinely what Northeast players could do. We got 2 seconds and a
They
third.
did well, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, we're done pretty well. We never won it. Dragon Slayers beat us fair and square one year, and not so fair and square another year.
Not so fair and square with particular people, but again, we won't name drop on this channel for cheating bastards.
I have got a video with Eddie Mack lined up, and I might bring it up with him, but I don't think he had anything to do with it.
Yeah, he's a top bloke as well. I think he's back playing as well. He's doing quite well. Martin Bunce is back as well. Martin Bunce, literally top 2 for years. So. Yeah, it'd be great to bump into him again. Might see him at the Masters, mate, because he's qualifying for the Masters.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think the thing was that when the WPS allowed Dragon Slayers to be on the rules committee and the scoring committee for running the club challenge,
yeah,
I got a bit dodgy. Specifically say things happened, but there was some stuff that we weren't happy with at the time. And
I know what you're going to as well. I remember the stuff. I remember all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably best off left in history, to be honest.
Yeah.
Your last chance to get any tournament anecdotes out.
If anyone's bothered about the rankings and you follow it, guess who's number 1, baby? That'd be me. I finally got me right number of tournaments to score them. Steve Toll's been keeping a placeholder for me all year. But I'll tell you what, regardless of all that, and I try and keep my head not swelling too much. There's so many good players in this country; it's ridiculous, and I love it. And it's all about the Masters next. And that's in January for the top 24 who qualify. Love it.
It is. I think the email just went out yesterday, I think, for the
location. Yeah.
For the location. I'm 99th at the moment. I just haven't really put the time or effort in this year. The armies I've been playing have all been what I would class as like middle tier, not cutting edge stuff. I'm not even sure if I want to go proper hardcore next year. I've just been enjoying playing.
So, yeah. The thing is with yourself, and I've known you for 25 years, best part, maybe even longer to be fair, because you're a competitive guy anyway, and you love the hobby, you'll naturally just gravitate to doing well. And like when you come down here and play us for like a couple of days, and we get some concentrated in a vacuum, high level play.
Yeah,
you'll get the bug, and I know you've already got the bug for the hobby. You'll get the bug again for the competitiveness.
Aye. Yeah. I am looking forward to a visit and a boot camp in November. It'd be good to catch up with a lot of you guys.
Yeah, I've got a cracking mattress as well, mate. It's like £1,000 mattress in my spare bedroom, so you'll be comfy.
Very good. I think that is that then, Keith. All that remains is for me to thank you for coming on. Thank you for telling us your stories, and I hope that everyone finds this an enjoyable video to be watched later on. Any final words?
Come and get number 1.
Come and get
right at the top. Come and chase it.
Right, no problem. Well, thanks very much, Keith.
Yeah, cheers, Seb. Thank you.
Take us to a green screen now, and I'll speak to you on the other side.
Cheers.
Many thanks to Keith for a great chat. Another wonderful catch-up, and I'm certainly looking forward to meeting up in November for our boot camp where they're going to kick me into shape. Something that's stuck in my head after this chat, however, is the big difference between team-style gaming, Nationals, Worlds, and my big love, club gaming. As much as I love teams and even master-style events, they're very limited and only experienced by players of a certain level. Club-level gaming, in events like the Old Club Challenge, are open to all and make for a great weekend. Both are certainly going to create great bonds and memories, be fun and hard. Let me know in the comments below which your preference is, or have you not even experienced either of them? My closing thoughts for tonight is somebody out there, please, please, please get the Club Challenge back on the tournament calendar and make Sib a very happy guy. For now, that's me signing off until my next episode.